Hello, Nomads! Thank you so much for finding your way here to this latest in my Ranking Stuff series, where I'm ranking my favorite 90s rock bands. Now, initially I try to pick, 10 to 12 for every ranking, but when I was doing 90s rock bands, there was no way it was going to fit into one video with 10 to 12, so I had to make this a four-parter, 40 of my favorite bands. So here's part 3, numbers 20 through 11. I had to use ChatGPT to help me I gave it my list of 40 bands and it asked me a bunch of do you like this band or this band? And I felt like I answered 200 of those questions. And then it did some sort of tabulation and it gave me my list of top 40. So it was an interesting way to go about this, and I was surprised by some of the results. So you'll have to stay tuned to see if any of these surprise you. So we're almost to the home stretch. This is my top half of my favorite bands. So before we get into it, let me give you my little blurb and spiel. Here's where I'm going to ask you to like, comment, share, subscribe, check out all my different social media stuff. And if you like what's going on here on my channel, you can be a part of that by supporting me by throwing me a tip over on Venmo at OneManDuet. I appreciate all the support, and let's run the theme song, and then we're going to get into the rankings. Oh, yeah. A band with just one dude, no reason to fret. I'll play with myself. It's Nate's one-man duet. Yeah. All right. Are you ready for it? I'm ready for it. Okay, let's see. What is going to kick off the top half? Is that what I'm going to call this? The top half? Yeah. What's coming in at number 20? Let's see. Oh, no doubt. So in part 2, where I ranked number 30 through 21, I talked about my affinity for female-led rock bands, and this one is so good. This might be one of my only bands in my top 40 that has a real heavy ska influence, which is kind of surprising because I really like ska. But here we are. All right, so Gwen Stefani, amazing vocalist, obviously. I also think, though, that their bass player is criminally underrated. That guy is so good. And I think, he and Gwen used to date. I couldn't imagine trying to be in a band with my ex. But not only did they make it work, but they wrote a really great song about it, Don't Speak. And, hey, why not capitalize on it? One of those two. All right. Let's see here. Favorite songs: Just a Girl, a feminist anthem. Love it. Spiderwebs, that song is so cool. I love all the different parts of that song. Don't Speak, we already talked about that one. Excuse Me, Mister, that's a really cool song. Sunday Morning, New, and World Go Round. Now, they had a bunch of other songs that would have been on this list, but I tried to keep it to songs from the 90s. So those were my favorites of theirs in the 90s. So let's see what's at number 19, shall we? Ooh, controversy. Pearl Jam, rated pretty low. I imagine Pearl Jam is probably going to be in a lot of people's top 5, top 3 even. For me, they came in at number 19. So, don't hate, please. I think they're a generational band. Probably, probably would have been higher on anyone else's list. Such an incredible vocal talent. Eddie Vedder, right? I mean, I think my baby's in love with Eddie Vedder. Weird Al fans, right? If you know, you know. Okay, anyways. So many great songs. Black, Even Flow, Yellow Ledbetter. I think he says something super poignant in that song, but I just haven't been able to figure it out quite yet. Alive, that song is amazing. Elderly Woman, Behind the Counter in a Small Town. I love covering that song. That song is so good. Better Man, Jeremy. Jeremy is such a jam. That song is so great. Dissident is awesome. And then Glorified Jeep. There's so many options. Really great band. I don't know how it ended up at number 19, but there it is. There's going to be a couple of these where I'm like, really? It's this low? But there were just so many great bands in the 90s. So, all right. Let's see if more controversy will ensue. Let's take a look at number 18, shall we? Better Than Ezra. This is a band that may not even be on a lot of people's lists. I don't think that they are all that well known. In fact, I think they are also criminally underrated, just like the bass player from No Doubt. Such a range of fantastic music. I love these guys so much. I know that they're maybe not the most popular, but Good was kind of their big, probably smash hit. But they have so many good songs. This Time of Year, Cry in the Sun is so good. The Killer Inside, King of New Orleans, that song is really awesome. They also have a ton of other songs that I really love that as I was compiling this list, I realized that a lot of the stuff that I really like is after the 90s. It was in the 2000s. So, you know, maybe they kind of benefited from having a cool 2000s career too, and it influenced the way I was thinking about this band. But that being said, I stand by them being my number 18. I love this band. I think they're great. If you don't know them, if you're not familiar with them, highly recommend check them out. All right, number 17, Blind Melon. Sadly, such a short career, right? Shannon Hoon dies after their second album. These guys were such incredible musicians. To me, they feel like kind of a continuation of like classic rock, like whether it be a Led Zeppelin. Actually, yeah, I think Led Zeppelin might be a good analogy, rather, if I could use the words in my brain, get them to my mouth. Yeah, but they're just, I mean, I love this band. They're so good, and it's so sad that their career was, and you know, Shannon's life was cut short. So, don't do drugs, kids. There's lots of examples of don't do drugs, kids, in this list, sadly. What can I say? All right. So favorite songs, No Rain. That is such a great song. I think everybody loves that song, right? It's just it's a feel-good song. It's so great. Tones of Home. I really love the arrangements in that one. Galaxy. This one is kind of a little bit out there, ironically, right? Galaxy. Holy Man. That song is so great. And then speaking of songs that are out there, Car Seat. That song is super weird, but boy do I like it. So highly recommend all those songs. Please do check those out. All right, let's see what's at number 16 on my list. Who we got? Yes, Arizona local boys, The Refreshments. Now, they also only have 2 albums, but then Roger Clyne, the lead singer, goes on to form another band, Roger Clyne and the Peacemakers, who are also great, and they cover a lot of Refreshment stuff, and they do it perfectly. So the melodic guitar work that this band did hits me just right. It is so good. And Roger Clyne, as I was saying, he is such a great and amazing frontman. He's like, yeah, he's just the ultimate showman, the greatest showman. Oh, no, wait, that's Hugh Jackman. Sorry, got confused. All right. So some favorite songs here. Banditos. Dude, that song is so great. I'm surprised that it's not more popular. I think anybody from Arizona and the Southwest knows that song really well, but I'm always surprised if you talk to someone from the Midwest or the East Coast, they oftentimes don't know that song, which is crazy to me because it is so good. Anyways. Down together. That song's great. Barkeep, another Mekong, please. That song is so good. Mexico, I love that song. It so perfectly has that like down in Mexico vibe. They just like perfectly nail it. It's so good. Nada, that is such an awesome, like soulful. Roger just sings the hell out of that song. It's so good. Blue Collar, you know, this was before you weren't supposed to say that. So that song is so cool. I love the way that song is written. Interstate, oh, that riff. I love just, that is so cool. And it's a repeating riff that the chords underneath it change, which is such a cool little trick. Anyways, I'm nerding out on the music of it. So, Girly, that song freaking rocks. Wanted, that's a really fun song. And Dolly, if you're not familiar with these songs, please do yourself a favor. Check them out. This is such a great band. I love them. In fact, they're my number 16 most favorite band from the 90s, if you want to get specific. All right, let's see what's going to be number 15. Who we got? Bush. Yeah, all right. So their first album, 16 Stone, was just mind-blowing. I have so many memories as a teenager. That's when I was like learning how to play guitar and like realizing that you could like kick ass and rock, and turning up the distortion and playing all of these songs. I think at one time I might have known that entire album cover to cover on guitar. Such great memories of, you know, really learning an instrument and connecting with the band and realizing like, oh, I can kind of to some small degree, like recreate some of what they're doing. It was really a musical awakening for me. So because of that, these guys have such a special place in my heart. So, all right, favorite songs: Come Down, Machine Head, Everything Zen, Swallowed, that was from their second album. That was a really cool song. Glycerine, that's still, I love that song. It's so simplistic and simple and straightforward, but just perfectly executed. And Little Things, I love that song too. All of these songs are just so dang good. All right, you think they'd be pretty high up on my list? Yeah, number 15 in fact. All right, so who's number 14? Let's take a look. Ooh, all right. So this might surprise some people. U2 was huge in the 80s, and then they were kind of carrying that through into the 90s and getting off into some pretty experimental stuff. So their 90s albums were Achtung Baby, Zeropa, and Pop. They only had 3 albums out in the decade. And boy, did I go through a phase where I was just obsessed with these guys. Now, admittedly, a lot of what they had done in the 80s was what I was paying a lot of attention to. But because I was so into that, I was then also following the new music that they were releasing and really enjoy it. So, that is such a great song. I love that to this day. Mysterious Ways, that song is so cool. Love is Blindness, that's probably one that you may not know. The live version of that in particular is just incredible. Numb, that's the one that was like, don't move, don't talk out of time. Really weird song. I remember when that came out, I was like, you know, I like this band, but this is a little out there for me. But now when I hear it, I love it. Stay, Far Away, So Close, just one of the good soulful songs that they have. Discotheque, that was another one that was like pretty weird, pretty out there, but I really liked that one. Staring at the Sun, that's a cool one. There's also an acoustic live version of that's done, and the harmonies between Bono and The Edge, just so good. And then Wake Up Dead Man, kind of a heavier, more serious song, but I really like that one too. So yeah, there was a band that I was super obsessed with at one point. U2 coming in at number 14. All right, we're kind of headed towards the home stretch. We got 3 left here in this teens ranking, so let's see what's at number 13. Beck. Yes. Oh my gosh. So inventive, so creative, and he just, you know, when I was talking a couple videos ago about Lenny Kravitz just oozing music, you know, from every fiber, I think Beck is the same way. He just has like this funky jam energy that just, you know, comes from his soul. He's so good. I love this so much. So this was another one where some of my most favorite songs of his were done in the 2000s. So the ones from the 90s that I really like, Loser, that was probably his biggest hit of his career. I wanna defy the logic of our sex laws. That song's funky, but so good. I got a devil's haircut in my mind. Where it's at. That was a song that, man, I remember that being out on the radio, and that was all another one of those that I kind of wasn't ready for. That song's weird, but now I listen to it and I'm just like, oh my gosh, how did I think this was weird? It's a genius piece of music, and it's got so many different clips and samples and movements, and I love that song so much. Nobody's Fault. This is he did this album. I think that's from the album Mutations. He did that album, and it was such a departure, such a swing from what he had done. It was really like acoustically oriented, recorded with a lot of open space, and just amazing. That album is so good. I highly recommend that. New Pollution. She's alone in the new pollution. This is when he was in, like, man, he was just knocking out jams. These were so good. Nicotine and Gravy. That song's, and Peaches and Cream. Those are all such great jams. They are so good. All right. Without getting into how awesome I think Beck is, let's move on to number 12. Let's see who's coming in. REM. All right. So, wide variety of songs with REM, especially when you look at their album Monster compared to like Out of Time. Just really, really different. These guys are such great musicians and are able to really experiment and stretch into different sounds, and they're just so good. This is another band that I had a couple years where I was just full on obsessed. You know, this was before the internet, and a lot of times CDs didn't have liner notes with lyrics, and so I would like obsessively, if you ever try to understand a song and understand what Michael Stipe is saying, you'll understand the enormity of this task that I undertook of, you know, I remember pausing, rewind, pause, rewind, pause, rewind. Oh, what did he say? And, you know, I'm sure I was wildly inaccurate. But because of this, I know all of the words to, and I can't believe, maybe this song came out in the 80s technically, because I can't believe it's not on this. That's great. It starts with an earthquake, birds and snakes and aeroplanes. Lenny Bruce is not afraid. I know, like, pretty much all the words to that song, and it's got like 10 million of them. So anyways, It's the End of the World as We Know It. Check Me. I think that came out in 1987. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. All right, so some of my favorite songs from the 90s from these guys. Losing My Religion. That's probably their big smash hit. Although Everybody Hurts is also, a pretty big hit. Shiny Happy People. Boy, talk about a juxtaposition from Everybody Hurts to Shiny Happy People. Couldn't have two more different songs. What's the Frequency, Kenneth? This is from Monster, the album that really rocks. That song is so great. Man on the Moon, a song about Andy Kaufman. Crush with Eyeliner. I've heard that's a song about Courtney Love. I don't know. Bang and Blame. That is one of my favorite songs. I love that one. Back in the 90s, I used to play in an acoustic duo setup, and we would play that song. It was one of my favorite to do. At My Most Beautiful, that song is so beautiful, and it's got like this orchestration part of it, and oh man, I love that song. Belong, that one is weird. That one's, you might listen to that and go like, what the heck? But there's something about that song that I always loved. That's just me being weird. Low, that was a really cool song. I liked playing that one back in the day. And then Leave. That song is super weird. It's got this siren noise that plays through the whole song, but it's so interesting. Partly I think they just put it down in the mix, but also your ear just kind of becomes accustomed to it and you almost stop hearing it. It's a really interesting song. I would highly recommend that you check that out. All right. So this is the last ranking. This is the last band that is outside of the top 10. This is the booby prize position to be at number 11. You were so close to the top 10. So let's see, who could it be? What? Oh my God. My mind is blown, and I made this list and I knew that this was here, but I forgot. This one probably surprises a lot of people. I know that this probably would be in the top 3 of a lot of people's list, but it's number 11. My top 10 is going to feature some really weird curveballs. So tune in to that. I'm a little foreshadowing a little bit. But yeah, let's talk about Nirvana. Generation defining band, right? They were kind of the pioneers of grunge with a couple of other bands who were emerging out of Seattle at about the same time. Such artistry. Kurt Cobain was just like this tortured, poetic genius, and it's amazing that they've really stood the test of time and have stood the test of time. Oh, I have it written differently here. All right, anyways, you can't see what I'm seeing, but it's weird. Anyway, it's really cool that these songs have stood the test of time. I think that's so neat. I see people wearing Nirvana shirts now. The joke is, name 5 Nirvana songs. I don't like that kind of gatekeeping. Like, hey, I think it's great that this band that was so impactful and such great music, lives on. So, yeah, I think that's great. Wear those shirts. All right. So, my favorite songs, obviously, Smells Like Teen Spirit. That's kind of the big one. Something in the Way. Man, that song is so moody and dark and awesome, and featured in the Batman, the newest one. Oh, I loved how they used that in that movie. Heart-Shaped Box, that's a really great song. That's a fun one to cover. Speaking of covers, The Man Who Sold the World, that is actually a David Bowie song that Nirvana did on their Unplugged album. Their Unplugged, maybe the best Unplugged of the whole entire series. So good. Lithium, that song is so amazing. All Apologies, again, what a, that guitar riff, and just that whole song is, to me, just such a masterpiece. I love that song. In Bloom, that's a really fun one to play. I like that. Where Did You Sleep Last Night, another cover. And the vocal performance on that song, my goodness. Let's see, Drain You, what a rocker. What a great song. Polly, wow, what an impactful song I'm pretty sure it's just acoustic guitar and Kurt's voice through that song. But man, it just kind of hits you right in the chest. That song is impactful. Lake of Fire, another cover from the Unplugged. But dude, their version of that song is so good. You Know You're Right, that's such a cool song. That wasn't one that I was familiar with back in the day, but I've started to hear it more recently, and I'm like, whoa, that song kicks ass. I love it. Come As You Are, that's a pretty iconic song, so great. One of the first little riffs I learned when I played bass, I learned that one, and oh man, I thought that was just the coolest thing. Molly's Lips, that's another one that I don't think I was familiar with back in the day, but I've started to hear it more recently. Man, that song is cool too. And then Sliver, Grandma Take Me Home. So, yeah, perfect. Grandma Take Me Home, because we're done here with part 3 of ranking my top 40 favorite 90s bands. So, all we have left to do is part 4. That's going to be out in about 3 weeks, so you can tune in. And, I'm going to be doing my top 10. And like I said, there's some weird ones, probably going to be pretty controversial. I would love to hear, what do you guys agree with? What do you disagree with? I'm sure there's going to be some disagreements with some of the ones that were on this ranking. So, hey, be kind, right? We all can have different opinions, but I would love to hear yours. Let me know kind of where you would put these bands. So thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and stay tuned for future rankings.